Hari Om, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. Please come, pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together, with all humility, faith, surrender, we offer our humble salutations to the Almighty, Omnipresent, Omniscient, who also has the divine names Satya Dharma Parakramaha, Bhuta Bhavya Bhuvanatha. To such an Almighty, we offer our humble salutations. To seek His grace, His mercy, His blessings, His compassion, His love, His strength, His forgiveness. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities of Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya and Prapatti, only and only to understand Thy divine and true nature. And we beseech in You that at the end of our lives we reach Thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Today, by the grace of God and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 309, the 13th of December 2022. Shubhakrat Nama Samvatsara Dakshinayan, Hemanta Rutu Margashira Mas, Krishna Paksha Panchami, Ashlesha Nakshatra, Vaidhriti Yoge, Taitula Karane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday, and the auspicious time of the evening, We all take a firm resolve in our minds. Na ham karta, hari prernaya, hari prityarth. All that I face, encounter in my life, every situation, every circumstance, every incident, every happening is all manifested by thy Lord to uplift this life from this ocean of births. I understand that this is your Leela. I accept it with utmost faith, devotion, and surrender. O Lord, give me the will and ability to face these situations and overcome them and eventually reach thy holy feet. Our humble salutation to the entire Guru Parampara. Om. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. Come. So now, here Lord Krishna, after telling Arjuna that, look, I have given you a knowledge which I had given earlier to various others, through which great sages have attained liberation. So this he explains in the verse number 9, and in the 10th verse he also says that you as a human soul are inbuilt with certain qualities, traits. Now you need to overcome them. That's all he says. And what are they and what we need to overcome, that is explained in verse number 10. So what we'll do is I'll just take you briefly through the first 9 verses so that we have an idea of how this whole thing has been narrated. Okay, so we'll just take a brief run through this. So the first verse, the Lord tells Arjuna, I have given this eternal yoga of science to the sun god Vivaswan, okay, who in turn passed it on to his son Manu, and Manu in turn passed it on to his son Ikshvaku. So by now already Arjuna is confused. He says, what are you saying? You have given to the sun god Vivaswan, who has been billions and billions of years before us. Okay, now in that state of shock he continues to listen. And then the Lord continues, he says, hey Arjuna, the subduer of enemies, he says, these saintly kings, from time to time where I gave the science of yoga, it continued, tradition after tradition, it continued, but over a period of time, with the passage of time, it was lost to the world, meaning it was not protected. Second verse. Then now he moves on to the third verse. The same yoga, he says, this is a very supreme secret which now I am going to reveal to you, O Arjuna, because you are not only my devotee, but you are also my friend. So you can understand and transcend with this knowledge. And having said that, then he said, then Arjuna says now, Arjuna, what he says, hey Krishna, you are born much after Vivaswan. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed to Vivaswan? Very common doubt which anybody would get. But here if you see the connectivity between the third and the fourth shloka is, he says, you are not only my devotee, but you are also my friend. If it was just a devotee, he would not have asked this question. But since he is also his friend, he had that liberty to ask Lord Krishna. So he asks him. So then Lord Krishna tells him, see Arjuna, both you and I have had several births, millions and millions of births. You have forgotten all your births, but I remember all of them. O Parantapa, he says. Now, sixth verse, he says, I am unborn. I am unborn, meaning I am the Lord of all the entities, and I have an imperishable nature. But yet, with the help of my Yoga Maya, that is my divine power, I manifest whenever I want, wherever I want, however I want. And in the seventh verse he says, you know why I manifest? I come with a purpose. Whenever there is a decline in righteousness and a humongous amount of increase in unrighteousness, decline in dharma and increase in adharma, he says, O Arjuna, that is the time when I manifest on this earth. And then verse 8 he says further, you know, this is primarily to protect the righteous. All the dharmic people, I protect them. And to annihilate, to kill the wicked, and eventually to re-establish the principles of dharma, I appear on this earth. Yuga after yuga means age after age. Then verse 9 he says, those who understand my divine nature, as I just now mentioned to you, how I manifest, what is my true nature, those who understand this process of me manifesting and eventually going back to my real self, he says, O Arjuna, such souls, upon leaving their bodies, they do not take a birth again. Meaning they do not take a birth again, meaning where are they then? They come to my eternal abode. Not that they are just somewhere floating around. They come to my eternal abode. This is, he tells in the 9th verse. And now in the 10th verse, he clearly says, yes, you have a challenge. Not just understanding my manifestation powers and my nature of a duty. Not only that, he says, being free from Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, meaning attachment, fear and anger. See, the very first word he has spoken of attachment, which to any commoner, he'll say, how can we live without attachment? We are attached to our spouse, we are attached to our children, we are attached to our pets, we are attached to our properties, to our possessions, So this is the biggest attachment. Biggest attachment as a hurdle. He says, attachment, fear, anger, those who leave this, who then become completely absorbed in me. Not only that, first leaving those three, then absorbing in me, and the third thing he says, and they also take refuge in me. They are not only absorbed in me, they take refuge in me. So Lord says, many souls in the past have become purified by this knowledge, and they have also attained my divine form. So now what are these? And like say 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th standard. Now there are students who start preparing for IIT even from 9th and 10th standard onwards. They don't wait up till 12th standard. Just let's compare we as a sadhak, what Lord Krishna is saying, and those students' life, how it is. When they take up the entrance test courses, They're preparing how to give an entrance test to these top-notch courses. Like for example, we're taking IIT. Now, during that time, there are so many distractions for these children. Their own friends who have studied with them from primary, secondary, they are also pursuing something else. Now, while they are pursuing something else, they are not that serious about life. But here, imagine this person not only studying for the 9th and 10th course, this person is also studying for the entrance examination, which means he has to give up everything. He has to give up all these small pleasures of life, chatting with friends, going out for movies, hanging around with them, or going on picnics, going for dinners. All this they have to give up. See, that is meaning there is some price one has to pay to get something higher. That's the point what I'm trying to make over here. So everything will not come easy to everybody. Those who are able to cross over these pleasantries of life, these basic pleasures of life, only they can rise higher in life. So here he says, you choose. You want the world, your family, your world, your life, attachment, fear and anger, then go enjoy, be there. Where am I saying don't do it? But if you have decided to come to me, then you have to first give up these three. Then you have to establish yourself, make it very clear that this is my goal in life. And then he gives this fine escape route. He says, refuge in me. Now we will go in detail and understand. He says, you don't have to do anything much. Give up these three, become absorbed in me, and once you take refuge in me, I am there to take care of the rest. How that works, how that happens, and by doing this, how we can lead a more peaceful life. That is also extremely important. It's not that, okay, now you continue to suffer, you continue to undergo the turmoil of life, hurdles, pain, and then one fine day when you pass away or when you die, that's when you will be in bliss, you will attain me. No, the advantage of giving up these, immediately you will start experiencing peace. You will start experiencing that solitude in life. Then you will start experiencing that bliss, what you have always longed for. So these are the advantages of getting onto this path. So now we'll read verse number 10 and we'll go further. Come. Shri Bhagavanuvacha वीतरागभयक्रोधः मन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा पूता मद्भावमागताः. These are, as I told you, not only for your spiritual upliftment, but this knowledge takes you towards a very happy life. Now, how we can correlate, understand? Now, it depends on how you pay attention to and how you grasp whatever is told over here. So we can say that this particular shlok, in a way, it is praising this knowledge. In a way, it is also blessing us with some real stuff which we are looking forward in life. And it also talks about the fruit of the knowledge. Now, how if somebody has to praise a particular knowledge, what they normally do is they say that there are people in the past who have done this and then they have gained results. Let's say there are some pills for weight reduction, just an example. So there you will have various characters who promote the product by saying, yes, I use this medicine which is in the form of pills, and earlier I was so many kilos and now I become so many kilos, and they show their before and after picture, and then what happens? We get a kind of a confirmation and some confidence we get. This is one of the methods. And then what happens is, by doing this, one gets to understand the glorious results, and this will induce, motivate and push a person to take up that particular act. So here Lord Krishna, same way he says there are so many souls who have been benefited. You look out and see how they are benefited and what they got in life. So in this way, by doing these following acts, he talks about the benefits which are there. Now, first thing he attacks. Vita means devoid of. Vita. Minus or without. Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. He straight comes to the first one he talks about is Raga. Raga means desire. Then after desire comes fear, and after fear comes anger. He says these are the three greatest enemies which are there in one's life. Now, if we have to talk about, let's say for example, fear. What is fear? It is an expectation of an untoward thing in life. It may happen, may not happen, but we have expected something. Oh my God, this has happened. If this has happened, meaning this will happen. If this happens, then that will happen. If that happens, then furthermore things will go wrong. So this fear aspect is an expectation. It's nothing but an expectation. Like for example, you just think of a snake. Doesn't it cause fear? But if you think of a cow, you don't get really scared, isn't it? So this loss of a dear one, loss of your money, possession, status, your luxury, whatever you had, all these, they cause fear in life. So now, how one has to overcome this? Because he says these are all linked in a chain reaction, one after the other. Now the desire is the memory of pleasure and fear is the memory of pain. Both make your mind restless, isn't it? So likewise, he says, we need to anchor all these three. Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Raga desire, Bhaya fear, and Krodha is anger. Anchor them meaning Ankush lagana hai. You take a proper control over these things. Now, how do we talk about, why we talk about desire? You know what happens? When desire comes in your mind, that can be by various means. With your senses which are exposed to the world, you get in contact with the objects of pleasure and you get a desire. You hear from somebody, you see something, you feel something, you taste something, then you know that desire, that hankering for that particular thing always keeps disturbing you. And once it is not fulfilled, not fulfilled partially or fully, the anger is proportionate to that. If it is completely not fulfilled, your anger is at the peak. If it is partially fulfilled, you still have partial anger. And now in common life, what happens? In a common man's life, when we have such kind of desires and at the same time situations of non-fulfillment, there is an anger which is developing within you. And what you normally do is, you normally show it on your spouse or your children, where you have control, hold and authority on that person. Or it could be even anybody who is working under you. This is I'm relating psychology along with this. So this is one area which we have all made mistakes. Fortunate are those souls where they understand that yes, that my husband or my wife or my children, they are undergoing some pressure and they are behaving abrupt with us. But that doesn't come, because we all are humans. So where we go wrong is, we immediately, where the most valuable relationship, that is always at stake because of this one factor, raga and followed by krodha, desire and followed by anger. So there's one very good story on this desire part and followed by anger part. I'll just tell you the story. This is about, we all know about Garuda, who is the Vahana, vehicle to Lord Vishnu. Now, this is about Garuda, his mother and his elder brother Arun. Okay. Mother of Garuda is Vinata and the father is Rishi Kashyap. So, Rishi Kashyap had got two wives. One was Kadru and the other was Vinata. Now, to the first wife Kadru, she had asked a boon for 1,000 nagas. Okay, so accordingly she gave birth to 1,000 eggs, and Vinata, she said, I don't want 1,000 nagas or 1,000 children. Give me two children who are equal to those 1,000. So Kashyapa said, granted a boon, and accordingly Kadru got 1,000, laid 1,000 eggs, and Vinata, she laid 2 eggs. After about 500 years of incubation, Kadru's eggs, they broke one after the other, and 1,000 sons, meaning Nagaputras, they came out of the eggs. Now Vinata, seeing this, her co-sister, now she is enjoying with her children, not one or two, but with 1,000 children, she is enjoying life, and she starts getting jealous. A desire comes in her mind. Says, see, we both laid eggs at the same time, or gave birth to the eggs at the same time, and how is it that my eggs are still not hatched and I have not got my children? So that desire, it prompted her. What she did was, she impatiently, she tried to break one of the eggs. Out of the two, the first egg, huge egg, she broke that egg. And from that egg came Aruna, who eventually became the charioteer to Lord Surya. So Aruna, now he comes out of the egg, and see here, what prompted her to break the egg? Vinata's desire. And now when Aruna comes out of the egg, it so happens that he is still not completely prepared for delivery or to take birth. He is half born, meaning upper body is completely well prepared and the lower body is completely weak, still not prepared. So now this Arun, who is the first son, he is suffering with pain because he is not able to stand on his legs. And he says, now the anger comes in his mind. He says, I am suffering unimaginably. I am undergoing unbearable pain. So he tells the mother, you will have to suffer the same way every moment of your life. See here, where is the relationship? He is just born son, a Divya Putra, and he curses his own mother, Vinata. Anger. Why? Because he has a desire that he wanted to be a healthy, normal person, but just because of the desire of the mother, he became a crippled person. So then he tells that he curses his mother and he says, for the rest of your life you will not be able to disobey her. See the conditions he puts. Meaning you will have to obey your elder sister, the first wife, and even if she ill treats you, you will have to bear all the torture. And then I will never be able to fly freely because this is the state what you have made me to be in. So similarly, you will also never be free in life. The second curse. And then he says, since I am enslaved with my disability, the same way you will be enslaved by your sister. She will torture you in her life. This is the curse I give you. See, it is not only to humans, even to those Daivika Putras, what we call, those noble souls who are at the highest level, how anger, desire can deroot them. So then Lord Arun, then he realizes, oh my God, what did I do? I cursed my own mother. Anger is as much as a sin as greed or jealousy. I was so consumed, now he is repenting. I was so consumed by anger that I failed to see your pain and repentance. I could see you were jealous, but I failed to understand your motherly instincts behind it. I made a mistake, mother. And he says, if only I could take my curse back. Their mother Vinata says, it's not possible, my son. You are a Divya Purusha. And your curse it cannot be undone. So this curse has opened the door to endless suffering for me. Now see, she has that knowledge. She says, it is my karma prarabdha. I was fortunate enough to have a son like you, but because that desire came in me, that jealousy came in me, I did a wrong act, and now you have cursed me, and I know that it's going to be all the time suffering for me. I take it as the prasada, with the prasada buddhi, as it has come as a blessing from the Lord. And they still discuss, oh mother, is there any way? But he says, no, there is no way to overcome whatever we have done. So in this way, now we have seen how a desire converted into anger and it made such a divine person like Vanita, mother of Garuda. The second egg, eventually what happened is, the second egg is where Lord Garuda, he comes from that egg and eventually becomes the Vahana to Lord Vishnu. So such a mother also, to such a great soul, she also had to undergo this. So these are a story which denote that we all can suffer by the wrath of these traits. Unless and until we don't have a control on these, or we don't have an anchor, we will not be able to get out of this. And like how you can get angry with an expectation. It could be as simple as a very close friend of yours, let's say. He has some function at his place and he fails to invite you. Okay. Now, you got to know from somebody else that yes, so and so function is organized at their home or at some place, and you see that you are not invited. Now you are expecting that friend to call you. Okay, he'll call today, he'll call tomorrow, he'll call evening, afternoon, night. No, you're not getting a call. So as your expectation is increasing, your anger is also increasing. So where did it come? Desire and your anger. And other small things are, you want your son to be in a particular way. You want your daughter to be in a particular way. Now, how that particular way you have designed that is by you looking at your own life. We were like this to our parents. This is another big mistake which we all do. Arey, we behaved with our parents like this, we spoke to them like this, we stood in front of them like this, we compare that and we want. Now, these are all subconsciously, it is there in your mind. You're not trying to do it explicitly or consciously. Somewhere at the back of your mind, whenever you see your son or daughter talking to you or behaving with you, you relate to that and immediately you snap at the person, at the family member. What is this? Expectation. Now, what is expectation? It's nothing but a cousin brother of desire. So, this way, now, one has to be careful of these traits in life. Otherwise, you do not know how it will take you on the route of disruption. Now, rather than you having these kind of desires and anxieties, now let's take karmanyavadikaraste. When we know that for whatever karma we are doing in life, don't have any expectation of fruit. Just to work with your resources towards achieving whatever you want in life. Because everybody gets as per their karma. Remember, a beggar also has got 24 hours time in his life, in his everyday, and a multi-billionaire also has got 24 hours. Then what is that which is giving each and every person different grades of luxury or resources in life? There is something known as the karma principle. So going by that karma principle, you just give your best and wait what comes to you. And take the help of yoga karma kaushalam. For success in our life, one needs parishrama and pramanikata. One needs effort, and also we need to be honest in life. So when we change our track, when we understand these principles, then life becomes much easier. You stop comparing yourself with it. I have done nothing to get this body and mind. So this becomes a yoga. Every action is in union with that Lord. There is no expectation of any kind, no expectation of any result in a specific manner or time bound or in quantum. You are just doing it. With what? With that arpana buddhi. And this yoga karma kaushalam, not only you are doing with your karma, but you have risen above that attitude and intention in your mind. You are saying that, oh Lord, this action what I am doing now is my service unto you. If you talk of karma yoga, if you talk of bhakti yoga, you say, this is my devotion unto you. That is the only difference. Service is in karma, bhakti is in bhakti yoga. Now you move forward in life. That I am not going to compare myself to anybody else. I am going to be better than what I was yesterday. So in this way, when a person changes his course of life, see now where we are coming from that Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, desire, anger and fear. So for that we have just moved a little apart and we are talking in practical terms, because there's no point in only understanding the direct knowledge. How we can apply it to ourselves, that is important. So what we learnt over here is not to snap at our near and dear ones, because they are that easily available people in life, So that mistake we have done, and we should ensure in future we do not do that. And here if you can ask for forgiveness and get out of that, that will be the best thing to move and have a happy family ahead. Now coming back to how you can perform in life, it is up to you. I know I am governed by my karma. Somebody else's karma, even my own spouse's karma or my children's karma, is not going to benefit me in any way. My own account of karma, I will have to see that I do every action which is unto the service of Lord or as a devotion unto the Lord, and see how best you can do it. Whatever be the action, give it that class, have that style in that. It's this, as they say, do small things in a big way rather than doing big things in a small way. So here it remembers me of one story which our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he narrates. He says, long back when he was in Gujarat, he was traveling in a train. This could be about say about 35-40 years back. So there he sees about a young boy aged about 12 to 15 years. He sees a person approaching the train. He is already seated in the train. This boy is approaching on the platform, is approaching the bogie. From a distance, he looked like a beggar with his clothes and whatever he was carrying. He looked like a beggar. And also, this boy was struck with polio below his trunk, meaning both the legs were not in order, and he was literally dragging himself and coming towards the bogie. Now, as he gets into the bogie, Mr. Modi says that he was seated somewhere about a few seats away from the entrance. So he could see the boy at a distance. He comes inside. So he thinks that he is a beggar and now he is going to beg. But he did not. He had a joli on his side. He removes from the joli, he removes a polish dabba, a polish tin, and he removes brushes from the joli. And then he tells the customers that, look, please give me a chance to polish your shoes. And some give a weird look and somebody felt pity on him, and a person gave him his pair of shoes to polish. Now see this boy, as he took the pair of shoes to polish, he immediately gave that day's newspaper, Times of India. He gives that newspaper to his client. And he says, sir, while I am polishing your shoes or your chappals, please have a look at this paper. Now the customer is extremely happy. He says, my God, I am paying him some 10 paisa or so and I get a rupees worth value of paper to go through. And he is merrily, happily reading the paper. Now the boy is polishing, and by the time he finished his polish, now this customer by then is extremely happy and he gives him that 10 or 15 paisa. And as he receives the money, in the last page he sees, it is written in bold, may you have a successful day, sir. May your journey be fruitful. In this way, this young boy, see how he did his job to the best extent possible. So this is that professionalism what we can talk in terms of in whatever action we are doing. See, we don't try to give our best. What we do is we simply complain about things. Why is this happening to me? Why am I not getting what others are getting? So in this way, samatvam yoga uchyate, says be established in that, Lord, be it success or failure, you just look as it is, your true yoga. Perform duties established with the vision of the Lord. So now, coming back to where we are, as we move forward, the Lord says, what I look from you is surrender. Surrender in the sense, whatever you are doing for my sake. You are not doing for your sake. In future courses you will get, in future stanzas you will get to understand eventually where Lord is going to take us to. He has got plans to uplift the soul. Please remember that. So he is teaching you one by one. And he says, I want that Tyaga Buddhi or that Arpana Buddhi. So go beyond these three and make every action a yogastha. See, we worldly people, what we do? We put all our minds on our problems all the time, isn't it? Every time, what are you thinking about? We are only thinking about how this can become right, how this can become better, how I can get rid of this problem, that problem. And we are doing that self-talk within us. So place your mind instead of problems, which normally the worldly people do. But what do sadhaks do? They have their japamala, mentally or physically, and they are constantly established in the Lord, and they are chanting the mantras. So what happens? Every action you are doing becomes divine. This is the difference. When you are established with that Lord, every action of yours becomes divine, and you are purifying yourself. So he says, one who has got rid of these negativities, because as a virtue of this mantra patana, mananat trayate iti mantra, the one which purifies your mind, that is known as a mantra. So as you start purifying your mind, you are getting rid of this divinity. And a soul, a sadhak, firmly places his mind on me, the Lord says, he completely is absorbed in me. In what way? Manmaya. Manmaya meaning he has completely surrendered to me and he has placed his entire mind on me. He has got tens and hundreds of problems, yes, as any normal human being would have. But he has kept them aside and he is completely established in me. Another meaning is a sadhak himself, on one form or the other, what he does is, he, because of that surrender, the Lord says, as he has placed himself on me, I will ensure that he crosses over these problems. Vitaraga bhaya krodha. This is the escape route, the Lord says. And trust me, my dear friends, this works. Miracles. I have been experiencing this. It's not that earlier, okay, when we were also half-hearted, things were working half-hearted. But when you have completely surrendered, you do not know how things work. Now, actually, I was trying to keep a track. Then I said, if these kind of miracles happen not, once in a week or once in a fortnight, but if they keep happening not once a day, but even several during the day, then one needs to make a note of all these things. That is the state. Whatever problems you have, they just get nullified. There is some escape, something or the other develops and it shows you a way. So why I'm telling you this is again to create that confidence in you. Have that clean heart and that complete surrender. Never ever doubt, oh, it can happen. It has to happen. It all depends on how much Shraddha and Prapatti is there in you. So how you can see a change in the mindset of such a person. A sadhak who has established himself or herself at the feet of the Lord, in the vision of the Lord, in the thought of the Lord. What happens? They will not desire for more. These are the side effects. They will only aspire for what they are eligible. They say, yes, I am eligible only for this much. I will not look at what others have got. I can clearly understand that the karma principle which is operating for me is operating one and only for me in this creation, entire creation. It's specially designed for me. It is not that it is for everybody else. Their faith in God increases to such an extent. And they know that God will give me what I deserve. Why should I fight? Why should I get angry? So there is no niriksha, what we call is that expectation. There is no anger. There is no fear of losing. So such a sadhak's outlook in life, what happens? It changes its entire course of life. If someone blames him, someone abuses him, someone accuses him, insults him, talks rubbish about him, this sadhak will not get angry. He knows that God being in him is doing all these kind of drama around through somebody else, through one or many around, as per my own karma. It is not with any, according to anybody else. You have no control on anyone. You cannot tell or expect someone to praise you or scold you. Situations will make people to behave differently and abruptly towards you based on their karma and our karma and situations. At best we can, pray for the other person's right understanding. That's all. Oh Lord, please put some sense in his or her mind. Now a question. People who know all this, then why they still behave in raga, bhaya, krodha? This is one important question which can come to all our minds. So here they say, because there is still an absence of the right degree of submission. There is that lack of complete surrender, upashritaha. What is that? That complete surrender, sharanagati, there is still that lacking. Clarity comes only when there is complete surrender to God, which is praparti. If one does not have clarity, then definitely to that extent you will see that there is the progress in his or her life is hurdled to that extent. So, in other words, there is no complete surrender, meaning such a person will find fault with the noble person's action also. That desire to acquire, to get more, that fear of losing something precious, or anger that you did not get and someone else got it, all these things will be modulated purely based on your level of surrender. So the Lord says, Mam upashritaha. Unless you completely surrender to me, you will not be able to reach me. Therefore, you will be caught in these negativities and you lose your valuable life. The true valuable life what we have, you will lose it because you have not used it to the optimum. So when we relate these examples to Arjuna, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, before fighting, he tells Arjuna, give up this raga. Raga means kama. What is your desire now? You have started your fight, Arjuna. Your desire is, I know your desire is to win. And on the battlefield, he is telling Arjuna, give up the desire to win. Arjuna, he is startled. He is saying, oh Lord, what are you saying, Krishna? He says, you only focus that you are fighting for justice. Your rights, which is your swadharma. That's it. Winning, losing is not my focus. I am fighting for dharma on which the entire creation is upheld upon. I am fighting for my swadharma. So he says, you must do it. You are not fighting here for someone else's property or right. Just like Duryodhana was exactly doing the opposite. Highly unjustful. He wanted everything for himself, which means he was fighting for somebody else's property and right. But he says, you are fighting for your property and right. Just focus that I am doing it for dharma. He also says, if you lose the battle, let's say for example, if you lose the battle or you lose your dear one in the battle, which is high probability, and that's what exactly happened. Arjuna lost his son Abhimanyu. So one is, if you lose your dear one, and who knows, you have Bhishmacharya and Dronacharya opposite you, you can also have that fear in you about they winning over you because they are You are masters. And also don't get angry. See now, one is about the desire, then he spoke about the fear, and then he says, don't get angry on them. What nonsense these, my Guru, Dronacharya, and my Pitamaha, they are doing. They're just talking of this run that we have eaten the salt. हमने नमक खाया कौरवों का. So how can we come out? So we are going to die till our last breath for Kauravas. Don't get angry on their foolish behavior. All this will come only when you have the desire or kama or raga to win the war. Give it up and fight for dharma. Fearlessly you fight. Doing in such a way, this is very important now. Doing this in such a way, the Lord says, even this battle, even this war will become a sadhana. Amazing, see? We may be in the worst of situation, fighting for somebody, attending courts and doing all that, but with what? I am doing for the dharma, not for getting a feather in my cap that I won a case. No. So once, even if you fight a war with this attitude in mind, it will become your sadhana. And once you are devoid of above all these three, everything you do automatically becomes a puja, a worship unto the Lord. So this way, with these three things in mind, even God's worship will not be worship. If you have these, like raga, bhaya, krodha, you have in your mind, you may be worshipping all the time, sitting in the puja room and all the time chanting mantras, reciting shlokas. But if you have this desire, fear and anger in your mind, it is not worship. See, one of our Swamijis, he was telling us, he had gone to some place, a district headquarter, and there one of the disciple was a rich man of that place. So he had stayed as his guest in that house. Morning he saw that the host, his disciple, was doing his puja, and he was also informed that this puja goes on for about 2.5 hours in the morning. So accordingly they said he normally starts at about 6:30 types and it gets over by 8:39. Okay. Next day morning, while the host, the rich man, was doing the puja, that rich man's son, he comes out getting ready to go to college, and then he takes blessings of the Swamiji. The Swamiji asks him, wow, what a noble father you have. See his puja, his mantra recitation, his way of doing puja, and one day you will also become like him. I pray for that. When the Swamiji said, the son says, no Swamiji, I don't want to be like him. The Swamiji got a shock. He says, what are you saying? He says, Swamiji, what is the use of doing puja for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and in between you keep scolding everybody that this is not in order, that is not in order, and after your puja you are all the time scolding people for various things. Says, what is the use of such puja? See, still a young boy who has not seen the world, but he understood that basic things like anger and that inferior attitude what you show on somebody else, how one should overcome this. So in the same way here Lord Krishna continues, he says, GNANA tapasa. What we should do is we should train our mind watchfully. Continuously we monitor our mind and our senses with this GNANA. He says, this itself becomes a tapas. GNANA tapasa means make this knowledge, with the help of this knowledge, watch your own actions. Rather what we do, we are watching others. No use. Watch your own self and make that as a tapas. Like how I can refine myself, how I can become a better person than the other. One need not go to the forest or the Himalayas or to any tirtha sthal or even do any tapas specially for this, but constantly with these principles given to us in life, if we are able to focus and become a better person day by day. So wherever you are, right there, every moment in whatever you are doing, being this way, putaha. Putaha means you will become a pure soul. What we need to do in life to get moksha? Just remove the impurities which are stuck on to this Satchidananda Swarupa. Our true nature is Satchidananda Swarupa. But what has happened? These impurities have stuck to it. Like what does the water filter do in our house? That Kent, Godrej, Aquaguard, Eureka, whatever filter we have. Is it that it prepares some new water and gives you? No. Whatever impure water gets into it, it removes all the impurities and it gives you clean water. It does not manufacture water for us. In the same way, we have to pass through this an aquaguard on a daily basis, water purifier, and do what? Remove all the impurities. Yes, I have anger. Yes, I have desire. Yes, I have fear. Yes, I have expectation. Yes, I have comparison. All these are, as they call as Shedripus. Remove all this. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Just focus and keep removing them. So once you remove these Shedripus, and here they are called as Trivargas, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. It is nothing but a modulated form of all the six in the form of three. We just need to remove them, that's all. So in such a manner, not one or two, Bahavaha, many souls have got purified, and Madbhavam, meaning they have merged in me. They join me. This is what the Lord is talking about this shloka over here. So he says, Vitaraga Bhayakroda Manmaya Mamupashritaha Baho Gnana Tapasa Puta, meaning you purified, Madbhavamagataha. You join with me. Remove these three and replace it with God. Okay, now we have, right? You want to be angry? Okay, be angry. You want desire? Okay, have desire. You want fear in your life? Okay, have that. How? Replace it with God. How? Raga, desire to merge with God. Still continue to have desire, but with what? To merge with God. You want bhaya, fear. Fear that what if I lose this precious life? Now we are fearful of losing so many other possessions in life, isn't it? But you have got the most important possession, which is a human life. And you are already on the track of spirituality. You know what the Lord is saying. You just need to grasp it. It is in your plate in front of you. You eat it, it will get converted into energy and nutrition, and you will be all right again. So that fear of losing this valuable human life, let's even not talk of, oh, no, if I go on the wrong path, God will punish me. Let's not have that negative understanding. Just the fear of losing a great, valuable human life. And you want anger? Not on others. Show that anger on yourself. Why am I not able to progress or do much more sadhana? I want to hike my sadhana. I want to hike my progress. Why am I still suffering in life? Which means I am not doing my sadhana appropriately. Why am I still anxious in life? Why am I still fearful in life? My sadhana is not to the mark. Meaning what? That manmaya bhava. You have not surrendered to the Lord completely. You are still surrendered to the world but not to the Lord. So as the Lord says, once you surrender to me, it is my duty to see that you merge with me. If my mind is swaying here and there, get angry on yourself but not on others. So this way, remove these three, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha, and become one with God. So here, everywhere you have seen, that me is there. Remove that ego, because it destroys a person. What we say, I want this. I want my wish to be fulfilled. I didn't get this. So I am fearful. Instead of me getting this, somebody else got it. I am angry about this. So this me, as we are talking about, God plus ego equals man. So man minus ego, now we are going through the Aquagard processing system. We as a human minus the ego equals God. Just remove that ego. So we need to be, just destroy our ego and be humble. What is the point of that huge, large tree, gigantic in structure? It has never learned to bend in life. When a storm comes, it will break down. But that simple grass, which has always been humble, and it bends on all the sides, 360 degrees it can bend, and it survives the most massive storm, even though it is tiny and even though it has got no strength. So it is not how huge you are, what you have achieved in life, array, that God cares a damn for it. We may be the most simplest person on this planet. Your status, your possessions, nothing matters to the Lord. What matters is shed your ego, and with that samarpana bhava, just surrender to Him. He may be giving you thrashes, but you say, oh Lord, I know why you are giving. It is for my good only. Accept. So this ego is the biggest impurity. Removing ego will be the holiest and greatest tapas what we can do for ourselves in life. Bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhava magataha. So these three things, how we can practice. Now each one can have their own way of designing their practice methods. Whatever seems to be in general we have discussed, you all can think of your own methods, and but ensure that these three things are not hankering you. Desire, fear, and anger. Have control on that, and see, with that surrender, you don't have to work hard. Things will fall in place. You'll see how you're able to overcome all this. And when somebody, they scold you or they ill treat you, now that is because their mindset is in a mess. So now what they do is they remove that anger on you. So forgive them. And you should be laughing within. That's all. Don't get angry. These are our testing situations in life. Many places, many a times, people just bang on you, but you have to remain peaceful. So if you are able to achieve that meaning, then you are progressing. If you are getting angry and if you are getting then miserable, if you are getting disturbed, meaning you have to do still some more sadhana, or you have to do more prapatti, that is surrender to the Lord. Thank you. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. We couldn't touch 11th verse today. We'll do it during our next session. Okay, now let's study the Vishnu Sahasranama. We have got two Divya Nama to study. Verse 31, last Nama, and verse 32, the first Nama. Verse 31. Amrutam shodbhavo bhanuhu shashabindu sureshwaraha aushadam jagata setuhu satya dharma parakramaha. Satya dharma parakramaha. One who champions heroically for truth, satya, righteousness, dharma. It can also imply as one who has truthfulness, that is satyam, and righteousness, dharma, and heroism, parakramaha. In short, Lord is one who fights constantly against the false and the unrighteous to establish truth and purity. Divine name 290, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavannatha. So let's read this shloka. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavannatha Pavana Pavano Nalaha Kamaha Kamakritkantaha Kama Kama Prada Prabhu. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavannatha. The Lord of the three periods of time, the past, the present, and the future. Lord of time is the one in whose presence alone time concept is possible. Time is the interval between thoughts and the awareness that illumines the rise and fall of thoughts is the very Lord of time. Objectively, He is the Lord of all these that exist in the three periods of time, or He to whom all creatures conditioned by time pray for comforts, solace, and protection. To such a divine Lord who is Satya Dharma Parakramaha and Bhuta Bhavya Bhavannataha, we offer our humble seek His grace, mercy. Now let's chant the Dhanvantari mantra 3 times. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशास्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्री महाविष्णुस्वरूप श्री धन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशास्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्री महाविष्णुस्वरूप श्री धन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशास्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्री महाविष्णुस्वरूप श्री धन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. To achieve anything and everything in life, we need the grace of Lord Dhanvantari, the Lord of Health. We offer our humble salutations and seek His grace and blessing. Om Tat. Now let's do the Siddhi Yoga Dhyana. Please make yourself comfortable wherever you're seated. If you need to get up and again walk a few steps and sit back, please do that. Head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Relax your forehead, your face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your upper body, and your entire. Let's take a few deep breaths. Now let's mindfully watch our thoughts. Antarika, Drishanuvitsa Vikalpa Samadhi. With a relaxed state of mind, observe the thoughts that cross up your mind without being judgmental. Allow the thoughts to move ahead. Be unconcerned about the thoughts. You're just a witness. Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. You're just observing. This form of meditation helps you to control your mind and direct your mind to wherever you want it to be. In between, you can focus on your breath. And again on your thoughts. which by now have reduced to a great extent. Now, in this subtle state of mind, let's sow the pearls of wisdom to self-realization. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. All the movable and immovable you see in existence is by the union of Chptr and Chit. Know that the Paramatma accompanies the Atma, which is present in all beings, and understand that Atma and Paramatma are imperishable in this perishable body. Paramatma is equally present in every soul. All actions are performed by Prakriti and not the Atma. All the diverse living beings are a part of one Prakriti and are born by that one Prakriti, which is created by that one Atma. Such Paramatma, who does not have any beginning, who does not have any material qualities, this imperishable Paramatma, although he dwells in the body, he neither acts nor he is tainted. Just like space holds everything, but does not get contaminated, same way, the soul, the Atma, although pervading in the entire body, does not get contaminated. Just as the sun illumines the whole universe, same way, the Atma illumines the entire body. In this way, the one who perceives with eyes of knowledge this subtle difference between Kshetra, which is Vikari, Jada, momentary, and destructible, and who understands Kshetrajna as Nitya, Chetana, Avikari, and Avinashi, and also those who understand that all actions are performed by Prakriti will attain that supreme Parabrahma. Hari Om. That's it. Knowing clearly well that everything that is happening is by Prakriti on this body, mind, and senses, which has been created by this Prakriti, And this Prakriti is governed by the law of karma. The Kshetrajna, the one who is the knower of this field, is just like that sun who is illumining this Kshetra or Prakriti. You are not this Prakriti or the Kshetra. Your true self is the Kshetrajna, that pure consciousness. Know thy true nature and be ever established in that truth. Focus on your breath. Become aware of yourself. Become aware of where you are seated. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes, feel the warmth slowly and gently on your eyes. Na ham karta hari karta hari prerana hari priti. Shri Krishna Arpana Idam Namam. Om. Our humble salutations. Guru Param. Together we offer today's divine discourse at the lotus feet of the Lord. Seek His grace.